Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad you all could be with us. Also, tuning in to our online affiliates, including our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcasts. Glad you all could be with us as well. This is part of our News You Can Use segment here at WYAD. And, of course, today we're talking about your health. With everything going on with the pandemic, it's been estimated that 47% of Americans have either delayed or canceled health care services since the pandemic, and millions of cancer screenings now have been missed. So now is the perfect time as we're beginning a new year to get back on track. And here is some great information for us today. We're excited to welcome Dr. Jessica Shepard to our program. She's going to definitely talk to us about, especially when it comes to women, why it's so important for us to be able to have conversations with our doctors, but also with our family members as well. Dr. Shepard, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So this is an important topic for all of us, but we're going to be focusing right now, especially, I think, for the women in our audience. And I think this is so important, Dr. Shepard, because unfortunately a lot of times, and I know my mom has been guilty of this, you think about everybody else except for yourself. Why is it important for women, Dr. Shepard, to talk about their health concerns, not only with their physicians, but also with their family?
Yeah, I think that's an important question because so many women maybe shy away from talking about their health issues or concerns, but we know that there are ways to actually decrease the risk of having a disease now that we know that genetic screening is so important and it's affordable and it's easy to use. So the more that we have these conversations, the more likely that women will take, their health into their own hands and having this knowledge by using genetics, which can screen for various cancers or heart disease and other diseases in order to better prepare.
Dr. Shepard, what are some of the misconceptions that some women have when it comes to their health and dealing with their health?
Yeah, seeing women in the office, for over 15 years, I've heard many women have a misconception that actual diseases are, for when they get older or things that they don't have to worry about or may not happen to them. But when we really look at statistics and the risk of certain diseases, we know that we can actually decrease the risk of something happening if we screen for it. And that can come in the form of screening tests such as a mammogram for breast cancer, but also for, genetic screening where you can actually predetermine if cardiac disease might be something that you would want to know ahead of time, again, so you can prepare and really plan for the future. One of the best things for your health and your wellness, and especially quality of life and longevity, is to be able to plan ahead of time. And that's what we're able to do when we think of genetic testing and working with Invitae. That really is important, that we have this mission to bring genetics to mainstream medicine and improving the actual conversation that we have about healthcare.
I love that. And we have a great example already this year with Chris Everett coming out and talking about her own ovarian cancer diagnosis and, of course, genetic screening and the role it helped with her. Dr. Shepard, so what are the top things that women should do this year to be proactive when it comes to their health?
Yeah, even, talking about Chris Evans and how she was able to kind of, get diagnosed with ovarian cancer in an early stage, that's the same thing that I'd want women to take away from this interview, is about being proactive about their health. So the first thing that you can do is actually schedule an annual exam. Get that on the books. Start 2022 out strong by having an appointment with your healthcare provider or doctor. And then another thing is when you go to that visit is to really have questions and have an inquiry about medical genetic screening and tests that can, again, give you the information that you need about genetic predispositions and planning for the future.
Love that. And again, it's so important for us to do that planning for sure. So when it comes to not only being, I think, proactive, talk to us a little bit more about what our audience should think about, Dr. Shepard, when it comes to considering genetic testing. What is it that they should have in mind when they're thinking about this?
I think that genetic testing allows us to have an important tool in our toolbox, right? And it's better to be better prepared with more tools than, to come across an instance or a situation or a disease diagnosis where you don't really have a lot of information. And so with genetic information, why that is so important is that it helps you understand the possibility of an inherited condition, understanding possibly unexplained symptoms, and again, preparing for the future. Now that can come through with pregnancy, with breast cancer, with cardiac disease. And so Invitae, which is a leading genetics company that I've partnered with, actually offers this medical genetic test, and it's very easy as far as how that process can start by starting online, which you can actually get at Invitae.com. And when you initiate that order online, it actually creates a quiz, which will help you then determine what test is best for you.
I love that. Dr. Shepard, I should mention, aside of being a board-certified OBGYN, you also are the CEO of Sanctum Med and Wellness. Talk to us about that, and what is it that led you to start Sanctum Med and Wellness?
Yeah, Sanctum Med and Wellness really came out of the conversations that I would have with women over the last, 12 to 15 years in my exam room, is that there needed to further the conversation when it came to wellness, and not just with health. Health I regard as, how are you feeling right now, and what are some things that we can do to make you healthy as far as a disease state. But what about the conversation with being proactive and really dipping down into the wellness aspect of that, whether it comes from nutrition or, optimizing your hormones or exercise? Making that a very important part of the health dialogue was so important to me, and that's why I started Sanctum Med and Wellness.
Well, it's a lot of great information, and it's great for our audience to know that there are resources that are out there. Again, everyone, Dr. Jessica Shepard has been our guest. She's been talking with us about the importance of making sure that we're putting ourselves on the books, that we're making the planning when it comes to getting back to our doctor's offices, making sure that we are taking care of ourselves, but also realizing the benefits that can come from things like genetic testing. Dr. Shepard, really appreciate the time today. You mentioned that website earlier for Invitae. Will you mind giving that out again, please?
Absolutely. I want everyone to head to Invitae.com, which is Invitae.com. You'll get a short quiz, and that's where you're going to find what test is going to be right for you.
All right. Dr. Shepard, thank you so much again for the great work that you're doing and for the time, and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
Absolutely. It would be a pleasure.
Thank you. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live, part of our News You Can Use segment here at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.